Hello everybody, Hexagon here and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be covering patch 11.23, the preseason patch, and I'm going to be going over all the changes that I feel like will have some kind of impact on Vex. So if you want to read these patch notes for yourself in full detail, make sure to click the link down below in the description. So anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it. So yeah, do the bug fix and everything, arcane, objective bounties. Now I want to go over this very quickly because, obviously it will impact everyone. But I feel like that this would also in particular impact Vex, because Vex likes to, group up with her team and, skirmish for objectives. So whenever you fall behind, it's a pretty great way to try and make a comeback. But it could obviously also work against you if the enemy team gets the objective bounties. Yeah, that's in short. If you want to read more on objective bounties, then make sure to pause the video if you want to just read through all of this. And I'll just continue down below to the dragons. So the dragons, I'm kind of on the fence on Chemtech. No, okay. The Chemtech Drake buff I feel like is great for Vex, because it will grant you up to 5% bonus damage per stack against enemies that have like more current health than you. Vex does struggle in dealing with tanks, and every little bit of additional bonus damage that she can get against tanks is, well, good, obviously, because it will help her take down beefier targets slightly bit faster. You're not gonna one-shot them or anything, but 5% extra damage per Drake for like a maximum of 20%. It's not too bad, not too shabby. The soul, which is also a big one, getting the Chemtech soul, obviously pretty good for Vex in my opinion, because you can play a more kamikaze oriented playstyle where you just fly in, do damage, then you would die, respawn, do more damage again. But on the flip side, if the enemy team gets the Chemtech Dragon Soul, that's terrible for Vex. And that's with the reason that, obviously as Vex you, for example, want to one-shot the enemy AD carry. You manage to do that, but then it would just respawn and try to kill you. With the way that Vex likes to engage, with her ultimate, you are basically standing next to said AD carry that would respawn, which could spell your death, pretty much. So, with Chemtech, the Chemtech Dragon, you do not want to give up the Chemtech Dragon Soul. You need to make sure that your team will be able to get the Chemtech Soul. It's practically a must in my opinion. And then we have the Chemtech Rift, with the gas zones that go around above and around Wolf. It's iffy. In some areas I feel like it could be good for Vex, especially because you can deal up to 10% more damage to enemies who have more current health than you. But on the flip side, it's a camouflage zone, so there will be assassins waiting in the wings to try to catch you off guard when you walk into there, especially if you don't have like any pink wards at your disposal, or have like a squash bloom to hit, because normal wards will not, they will not reveal enemies. It's camouflage after all. So it's really heavily depends on the situation. Like let's say they have a Kha'Zix jungle, and you don't have like sufficient vision in your own jungle. There's no way that you will be able to enter the jungle safe unless you specifically know where Kha'Zix is. Like let's say Kha'Zix show top, right? they could safely enter the area here. But if you don't know, then yeah, it's 50-50. It really is 50-50. So it's the 50-50 Drake, in my opinion, that you do not want to give up the soul on, for sure. Then we scroll down to the Hextech Drake. Well, the Hextech Drake buff grants you 5 ability haste and 5% attack speed per stack. The attack speed part is actually pretty useless, but the ability haste is nice. You know, being able to have your Q up more often is pretty nice bonus, in my opinion. It's not too bad. Then the Hextech Dragon Soul, which is kind of useless, in my opinion, because, well, let's see, when a team obtains the Hexagon Dragon Soul, they gain Chain Lightning Slow on their next basic attack or ability that deals like a very small amount of true damage, like 25 to 75 based on level. Bounces the target and slows units by 45 for melee and 35 for ranged. And then some additional percentage per 100 AP, or like 3% per 100 bonus CD. So, like, for the most part, if you have your fur up, this is actually pretty useless, unless you like want to guarantee hit your E, so you like auto attack first for the flow and then E. But overall, I feel like this soul is actually kind of lackluster for Vex specifically. I don't think it's that good. Like, it doesn't really provide that much damage. And the Hex Gates are pretty fun. They're kind of whatever. They don't really impact effects all that much, in my opinion. So yeah, Hextech Drake, ability is nice. The soul was very situational, really. Not like a big fan of it, in fact. Cloud Drake. So we went from 12 ultimate ability haste to 3.5% out of combat movement speed and 3.5% slow resistance. Now, the loss of the ultimate ability haste does suck, because Vex loved the ability haste on the ultimate. However, I'm not complaining about the movement speed and the slow resist. You know, because obviously Vex doesn't have dashes, so having any kind of movement speed or slow resistance is pretty good, in my opinion. Like, it could be better, it could be worse. Like, I still would have preferred the ultimate ability haste, but I'm not complaining about this at all. So yeah. Okay, Riff Scuttler. So while not directly affecting Vex, it does affect mid laners as a whole. And especially for mid laners that want to skill like Vex. Vex is not that strong early game. Now, by making the first scuttle significantly weaker, it doesn't. That basically means that you don't, or you're not like forced to help your jungler with scuttle. Basically means that you'll be able to focus more on your laning. Like, if you're winning lane, you can focus on poking down the enemy more. Or if you're losing lane, you can actually focus on CSing instead of, you know, sacking your wave to help your jungler. So overall, like, it does impact mid lane as a whole, but it also benefits Vex a lot, in my opinion. Especially because, you know, in some matchups he can be like an insane buddy, and she needs to be able to, you know, keep that pressure going. Or, you know, in some matchups where she really struggles, you know, she can't really afford to just leave lane to help a jungler with scuttle, basically. Okay, now we're getting to new items. So this item, Crown of Shredded Queen, is illegal. It's so fucking good. You know, it costs like 2,800 gold. You get like 70 AP, 250 health, 600 mana, and 20 ability haste. But the fun part, there's the safeguard. So you're safeguarded, reducing incoming champion damage by 75%. Safeguard persists for 1.5 seconds after taking champion damage, and has a 40-second cooldown, restarts upon taking damage from an enemy champion. And then there's the Poise passive, so while safeguarded, enter 3 seconds after it's broken, gain 10 to 40 baseline champions level ability power. So this is like on top of the base 70 AP that you have. So when you buy this item, assuming you get at least this, you get the same amount of ability power that you would get from Liandry's and Luden's Tempest, which is 80 AP. The catch is while the shield is up, obviously. And then there's like grants all other legendary items, 1% move speed and 8 ability power. So it's not as much as Everfrost, but you're still getting AP anyway. And the 1% move speed is nice. Like, move speed is really underrated on Vex, in my opinion. Especially if you want to like roam around the map, it's really nice to have. Also, with the buffed Ingenious Hunter from a few patches back, this item actually uses that very, very well. I tried it a few games, it feels great, because it's usually has like a 40-second cooldown. With a fully stacked Ingenious Hunter, that cooldown goes down to 28 seconds. You're shaving off an entire 12 seconds of this item. It's crazy. So yeah, definitely built this on Vex. Built this on pretty much any mage. Like, it's really good. Okay, then I want to stop here a little bit for Even's Route. Now, generally speaking, you're not gonna build this item on Vex, but I can see a world in where this item would actually be pretty good on Vex support. So let's read this item, shall we? So 2500 gold, you get 200 health, 20 ability haste, 30 armor, 30 magic resist. Then there's the passive. So after immobilizing champions or being immobilized yourself, cause that target and all nearby enemies to repent, increasing the damage they take by 12% for 5 seconds. And then the mythic passive is grants all other legendary items 5 armor, 5 magic resist. So if you're playing support Vex, which maybe you just want to throw yourself in like some kind of bomb, right? Like you throw yourself in, you press your W, all those enemies will take 12% extra damage from your team. That's kinda crazy. And it's for 2500 gold, which is a lot cheaper than AP options, like the AP itemization. So even though generally speaking you won't be building this, I can see a world in where this would be really good on Vex support in certain circumstances. It's definitely worth looking at. So Axiom Arc is not really interesting. Shadow Flame, on the other hand, is interesting. So you're paying 3000 gold, you get 100 AP, 200 health, and the passive, so damage to champions that benefits from 10 to 20 magic penetration based on the target's current health. So the maximum value at 1 times or less health, which is the 20 magic pen, and the minimum value at 2500 or more health, which is the 10 magic pen. However, you do gain the maximum magic penetration if the target was recently affected by shields. So let's say, for example, you're against a Mordekaiser. He will stack HP, so you get 10 magic pen. However, if he presses W for the shield, you will instantly gain the 20 magic pen. So this item is, well, obviously really good against squishies because it's flat pen. This is a squishy burster. And it's really good. Like, I would honestly, like, I played with it a few times, I would honestly recommend to pick this up every single game. It's that good. It's legit just part of your core build. It gives 100 AP and it gives you flat pen. It's really good. Okay, so next up, Winter Approach, Fimbo Winter, not interesting for Vex. Same with the tank items, not that interesting. You can just pause and read through it if you want to, or just click the link down below to read it yourself. Yeah, these are not really applicable. Abyssal Mask. Generally, I never built this on Vex, but I'm gonna look at it anyway. So the cost is the same, 2700. We gain 50 more health, 10 ability A's, which is new, and magic resist got halved. The passive went from, let's say, immobilizing enemy champions increase the damage they take by 50%, to curse nearby enemy champions, reducing their magic resist by 5 plus 1% bonus health for a maximum of 20 for each cursed enemy. Or for each cursed enemy, gain 7 magic resist. I mean, you reduce magic resist, and you get magic resist yourself. Again, this could be a thing for Vex support, but generally speaking, for mid lane Vex, you're not building this. But it's worth looking at if you want to go like a more supporty build with like the new tank mythic. This one's not interesting. Okay, mage items. So Everfrost is getting its gold reduced by 400. However, we get 10 less AP, and that's about it. And we get like 5 less AP per legendary. So the item is still good, even with it being cheaper. It's a great pickup for like when you're struggling, for example. Like if you're barely scraping by to get the gold for Ludens, you could go this. Like the active is still pretty good in Vex. So it's still worth a pickup, even with the slightly lessened stats, but it's not like too bad. And it's being 400 gold cheaper. That's pretty big. Dominican Brace. Never really built it on Vex. Or I did a few times, but it's not really good. And especially now, like gain 2% of your bonus health with ability power. This is more for like AP bruisers. So yeah, don't build this on Vex. Unless again you want to go for a more tank oriented build, which could be done with Vex support, but again, generally speaking, don't build this. Now, Archangel stuff is actually interesting for like Service and Brace, because the ability power conversion from all is actually converted to ability haste instead, and the Imperium passive, instead of increasing maximum mana, you restore health equal to 40% mana spent. So the Imperium passive, it's nice, but not really the main selling point of the item, in my opinion. It's this, the ability haste. Now, obviously it sucks to lose extra AP, but I'm not complaining about the ability haste. I think ability haste is actually pretty valuable. Now, yeah, you lose out on some damage, but it does mean you can get a few more spells out. I'd say it's still a pretty decent pickup in certain circumstances where you need ability haste. Like let's say you need to poke a bit more instead of bursting. You could pick this up. It's pretty good in my opinion. Cosmic Drive. So Cosmic Drive is an item that I rated very highly on Vex before. However, the way that it's changed, I'm really on the fence. Alright. So, we lost 5 AP, we gained 50 health, gained 10 ability haste, and got 5% move speed. However, the passive completely changed. Before it was like if you have 100 ability power, gain 20 ability haste and 20 bonus move speed. Pretty nice things to have on Vex. Yeah, that's why I rated the item so highly, because you would gain 20 ability haste on top of the 20 that was already on there, for like a total of 40 ability haste on a single item. That's pretty big. But now it got changed to damaging champion with 3 separate attacks or spells, grants 20% move speed, the gain to 10%, and 40 ability power until leaving combat. So Yeah, Vex can proc this very easily in one combo. However, what that means is once you trigger this item, you basically wasted your entire combo. So yeah, I mean you gain 40 ability power until leaving combat, but that means you have to be in constant combat to keep the 40 AP. But the thing is that Vex cooldowns are relatively lengthy, so if you've blown your load on someone, you're not just gonna go sit there and just auto attack people, right? Or like in most circumstances you really can't. So this passive would be wasted pretty much. So yeah, I personally don't like Cosmic Drive anymore. Horizon Focus changes. So we lost AP but gained health ability haste, and it now also applies Hyper Shot to slowed enemy champions. So this is important because obviously it still worked before, like if you were like out of a certain range it would also deal the additional damage, but now also deals the additional damage when the enemy is slowed, which means that your E will proc this item. Yes, we lost some AP, but we gained health and ability haste instead, which are pretty good stats. So I feel like this item as a whole actually got better for Vex, and I would say that's even solely because of this change. It's big. So yeah, this one's still worth picking up for sure. Void Staff changes, so we lost AP but gained Magic Pen. There's not much to say about this. It's still a good item, especially into tankier teams. That's all I have to say about it. Doran's Ring. So Doran's Ring also got changed because practically nobody built it, because well, you had to like CS perfectly to get use out of it. But they changed that. They changed it to a passive 0.75 mana every second, like that you're restoring, and damaging an enemy champion increases this amount to 1.25 mana every second for 10 seconds. And if you can't gain mana, restore 50% of the value as health instead. This is pretty good. Like it at least makes it so if you get like zones, for example, you can still reach your mana. And if you're poking, you can reach your mana. Now obviously I think that Corrupting Pot would still be the better choice overall, but Doran's Ring now is not like terrible like before. So yeah, it's an okay change. It doesn't really impact Vex all that much, because I still rate Corrupting Pot higher, but it's a worthy backup for sure. Okay, Hexagon Alternator. So we lost AP like 15, but we gained health. Small change. I mean the passive isn't changed, so it's a component item. You will still do damage. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now Worker Belt, not that interesting. Norse Night Officer, just both bad changes. Same with lethality items, not really that interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna scroll through it. Pause if you want to read it. Right, First Strike. This is an interesting one, because I feel like it has uses on Vex, for sure. But it's really matchup dependent. Like let's say into like melee matchups, this rune is really fucking good. Or even most mages, for instance. I feel like this is really good. You know, because not only will you do additional damage, you're also getting gold for set damage. But the thing is, if you get attacked, it goes on cooldown. Like if you get attacked first, it will go on cooldown and you won't get like benefits. So that's why I'm saying matchup dependent, because if you're playing into poke mages like Lux, Zareth, or Velkos, this rune is terrible. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know, I find it really hard to place where I would rate this rune, because in some instances I will rate Electrocute a lot higher than this, but this is not bad by any means, especially because you'll be doing 10% extra damage against champions and you'll gain gold just like that. It's some worthy pickup, definitely worth looking at for sure, and try it out. Let's see, Omnistone removed, like again not really that interesting. I also want to stop a Glacial opened, also for Vex support. Basically, whenever you immobilize an enemy champion, which is with your fear obviously, you will fire off 3 Glacial rays that will slow the enemy and also reduce their damage by 50% against your allies. So it's not against you but against your allies, which is still really good. It's essentially like a mini exhaust in a sense. Yeah, and especially if you're going like a more tank oriented build on Vex, you can basically throw yourself in there, press W, activate Glacial, so that like the enemies in the team fight will do less damage against your team. Like overall, I think this is like really good for Vex support, and I definitely look into picking this up for sure. The Lethal Tempo, that's interesting. Then there's Ultimate Spellbook, lots of new ultimates, including Vex. Hell yeah. Let's see. Different thing, Caitlyn Jinx updates, all chats being disabled, Clash, bug fixes. Yeah, that's about it. So these are the pre-season changes that I feel like will make an impact on Vex. Again, if you want to read the patch notes in full detail, make sure to click the link down in the description below and give it a full proper read. I'm also going to be working on a new infographic that I will be posting on my Twitter relatively soon, which is twitter.com/JulianDroid98. So yeah, anyways, without further ado, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, bye bye.